Hello, welcome to another episode of Soap Goes to the Oscars. This is episode 96. I am recording on July 19th, 2025. And I watched this yesterday, July 18th. And the movie I watched was Ninotchka. This was available on the Internet Archive for free. I'm still at $0 for this round. And as I mentioned in the last episode, I think based on what I have left, I may be able to get away with not paying anything for these. I might have to rent the snubbed movie, but as far as this round of 10 Oscar nominated movies, I don't think I will have to pay for any of them. So that's good. Ninotchka. It is a 1939 American romantic comedy film made for Metro Goldwyn Mayer by producer and director Ernst Lubitsch, starring Greta Garbo and Melvin Douglas. It was written by Billy Wilder, Charles Brackett, and Walter Reich, based on a story by Melchior Lengyel. Ninotchka marked the first comedy role for Garbo, and her penultimate film. She received her third and final Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. In 1990, Ninotchka was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. It has been listed as one of the greatest films of all time by Empire in 2008 and Time in 2011. Ninotchka has a 95% rating on the review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes based on 40 reviews. Produced by Ernst Lubitsch and Sidney Franklin. Cinematography, William H. Daniels. Edited by Gene Ruggiero. Music, Werner R. Heyman. Distributed by Metro Goldwyn Mayer. It was released November 9th, 1939. The runtime of 110 minutes. Was nominated for Outstanding Production, Best Actress, Greta Garbo, Best Story, Melchior Lengyel, Best Screenplay, Charles Brackett, Walter Reich, and Billy Wilder. So Ernst Lubitsch, just to jump back to him for a second, he's directed quite a few of the movies I've watched already, and I think probably has a few more that were nominated for Best Picture that I haven't gotten to yet. Started way back in 1914. Directing. But as far as when they started nominating movies, he directed The Patriot, which I was not able to watch because it was lost to the world. He directed The Love Parade, which I watched. Smiling Lieutenant, I watched. 1 Hour with You, I watched. Ninotchka. Yeah, I think he's got at least maybe not too many. He doesn't have that many movies left. Did he die? Oh, yeah, died in 1947. So this was not what I expected. And as I mentioned in my last episode, I'm not very good at taking notes, but I did write a few. In the 18-minute mark, I wrote, has a silly tone, which I was not expecting at all. And at the 19-minute mark, I wrote, a Heil Hitler. Now, I'll just read a little bit of the plot. 3 agents from the Russian Board of Trade arrive in Paris to sell jewelry confiscated from the aristocracy during the Russian Revolution of 1917. So they are at the train station waiting to meet this agent from Russia, Ninotchka, which they don't know is a woman. And while they're waiting, they were like, oh, this must be the guy. He looks kind of like, an agent, whatever she was supposed to be. Let me see. Moscow sends Nina Ivanova Ninotchka Yakushova, a special envoy whose goal is to win the lawsuit, complete the jewelry sale, and return with the 3 renegade Russians. Ninotchka is methodical, rigid, and stern, chasing Ironov, Bujanov, and Kopalsky for failing to complete their mission. So they see some dude that they think is a special envoy, and they follow him, and he proceeds to give a Heil Hitler to a couple other dudes, and they Heil Hitler back. And I was like, oh, all right. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's 1939. The war has started September 1st. This came out November 9th. So it was probably filmed before it started, but obviously Hitler was known at that time and was becoming a thing. So, yeah, it's just a little surprised to see a Heil Hitler. Anywho, I didn't like Greta Garbo at first. She was, I mean, she was playing the character well. She was super rigid. She was like robotic. She did sort of when with this dude Melvin Douglas that played the main character, the other main character. They fall in love and everything, and he was very like goofy and a little over dramatic at times. He was always going, "Oh, Ninotchka, Ninotchka," and he didn't have an accent, and I sort of gave him one there, but he was kind of silly. He did have some good lines though. Like she was looking at a map when he first meets her, and he's like, "Oh, what can I help you with? Can I help you find some?" She said, "I'm looking for the Eiffel Tower," and he's like, "Oh, is that thing lost again?" And just his delivery was pretty good. So I like this one. I gave it a 3.5 on Letterboxd, and not perfect. There was some stuff that I didn't quite like about it. Like I said, I didn't like some of the characters at first, but it did grow on me a bit. I was able to pay attention to this one a little bit better, although I was getting a little sleepy at the end. So I might have missed a little bit, but overall, this one was pretty good. Not at all what I expected with the name Ninotchka. I didn't have any idea. I thought it was a foreign language film, to be honest. So I wasn't sure what I was getting into. But on the poster, this is kind of funny. It says Garbo laughs. And then it says Ninotchka, don't pronounce it, see it, which is kind of hilarious. Oh, and the other sort of twist is kind of Romeo and Juliet, what sort of romantic comedy thing. He's the lawyer for the other side that is trying to sue to get these jewels back. There's a duchess that says they belong to her, and so she's trying to sue them to get them back, and he's the lawyer for them, and she's obviously the special envoy for the Russians and their lawyer. So it follows a little bit of a romantic comedy sort of, the tropes. They fall in love a little bit, and then something happens to split them up, and then they get they come back together in the end. So it all worked out, but pretty good. Like I said, 3.5. I'll leave it there. I'll see you next time.